You know what? Did I lose you? What happened? Oh, what happened? Oh, okay. Thought I somehow disconnected this class, but no, that's good.
Yeah. Okay, so you are now live and you can make me co-host.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good. Where are you?
St. Petersburg, Florida.
Is it warm? Must be.
It's very warm, but it's beautiful. Where are you located?
I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Ooh, is it warm there?
Not like Florida, but it's a spring day. It's sunny. It's probably in the 60s. Got a breeze. So that probably sounds cold to you.
Yes.
60 is nothing here. So everybody's just coming in, and I'm just going to put the class on mute, but you are always welcome to unmute and say hello before we start our class.
Hello,
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good.
Good.
All right. So we are on the Get Set Up live stream, and we will start our recording of the class in a minute. Just give a little more time. People are still coming in. Yeah. Okay, just looking at the names and very good, very good. And greetings across the pond. So let me start our recording and start our class. All right. So our class is being recorded. I'm Ellen Shapiro. I am here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I've been teaching Qigong here on Get Set Up for several months and out in the world for quite a while now, since 2014 in different places. And I love teaching and sharing Qigong with you. So before we get started, some logistics here. So you have a note in the chat from Harry, our teaching assistant, and he can help you out with Zoom, as well as, if there are questions that come up during the class. The way I do it is, like at the end, I allow the questions, but you can type them in the chat in the meantime, or just hold it in your mind and ask at the end. I love questions because chances are if you have the question, somebody else does too. And this is a beginner's class, so all questions are welcome. All right. So the way I do this class, as I put in the note there, is I have a little slide introduction to Qigong, and then we will get up and move. And I think that's about all I want to say. And just a reminder to have me on speaker view. If you have me on gallery view, you're only going to see me in a tiny box, and that's not going to be too easy to follow. And that's a setting on your end of things. So, all right. Let's get started with our slides here. I have to just share my screen. Good. All right, so Qigong for beginners. There we go. Just a little bit about me. So my name is Ellen Shapiro. I grew up in New York City and moved to Santa Fe 12 years ago. My first career was in accounting, so I used to sit at a desk all day and kind of go crazy because I'm a person that loves to move. And I don't think sitting at a desk all day is good for anybody, really. And my big leap, I've made a number of big leaps in my life. So I left all that, became an energy healer, and now movement teacher. I work with women on self-care and how to love themselves more. And I just love teaching and sharing my wisdom with you and showing you easy ways to feel better, to take charge of your health and your well-being. So that's a little bit about me. And Get Set Up, I think it's just such a great platform for learning useful things and getting empowered and so connecting socially with other older adults to empower you to do great things in your life and take care of yourself. I invite anyone that is in the class to have your camera on for a sense of community. No one is going to watch or judge you or critique what you're doing. And I know in some situations, there might be a distraction or there's other people in the house and you need to have it off. And of course, if you do, or you're on the phone and you just can't do the video, but otherwise you're invited to do that. Again, request the recording after class. And to me, the way to get the most out of any class is it's great to know that there's a recording, but also as you're going. Yeah.
As hard as it was
Wow.
to lose my friend, it's been even harder to manage
Okay,
his affairs.
hold on a
We
minute.
did. Okay, made me executor of his estate.
There.
How come the money didn't go to me directly? This is where it gets a little tricky.
Okay. And I have a request. I don't know, that was somebody's background sound and it might have been somebody else, but if you're in this class, please don't have the TV or radio on. I mean, it's your life, it's your house. We won't know, but that tells me somebody's got that on. And part of Qigong is a training in concentration. So just an invitation to have other sounds and other distractions off to get the most out of the class, as though you really entered a practice space. You would never, of course, that would never happen because, you'd be in a classroom. So, and maybe that was an accident, whatever. So that's why I keep the background sounds on. So let me go back to the slides here and go back to screen sharing. All right. So if anybody's watching this on the live stream, I'm glad that you're checking out the class. And really the best way to participate is to join the class, register for it, and then you can interact with me and ask questions. And finally, Get Set Up is not paid to promote specific products. Okay, let's continue. So here's what we cover in this class. What Qigong is, where it comes from, why practice it, who can benefit, and the basic principles of Qigong. What happened to me? Why don't I? Oh, okay. I didn't see myself. All right, and the goal here is to introduce you to Qigong, give you a taste of my teaching style, and teach you simple things you can try at home. So that's really what the class is all about. All right, and again, sounds like somebody is. Okay, so I think somebody is unmuted. So Harry, could you possibly just make sure the class is muted out? Because I don't want to come out of the slide to do that. Thank you. So what is Qigong? Qigong is an ancient healing art and movement, style of movement from China. So in our culture, the idea of moving as a healing art, I mean, we know movement is good for us, but to actually feel like you can get healing from movement, that's a different idea for people in Western culture. And but in Chinese medicine, Qigong is a pillar of Chinese medicine. It's up there with acupuncture, herbs, and body work. Okay, and again, there's some clicking sounds. Please make sure that you are muted out. Okay, I don't know what's causing that, but it could be from somebody's background sound. So Qigong is two words from the Chinese. Qi, the vital energy or the life force, basically the energy that powers all the functions of the body, and Gong, or the cultivation. So basically Qigong is cultivating or building your life force energy. Come on. So, I say, who can move, who can do Qigong? And the answer is anyone who's able to move. And you can do Qigong even in a chair and get great benefits from it. So if you have any kind of issues going on with your feet, knees, legs, or even with your spine, where it might be hard for you to stand or impossible, please practice in a chair and don't feel that you're getting a lesser practice from that. Qigong is very gentle and low impact, and it offers so many great benefits. So overall health, vitality, and energy. It boosts your immune system and helps balance your emotions. So it's a perfect practice anytime, but in the pandemic, it's like, you know, the ancient Chinese must have had a crystal ball and knew this was the perfect thing for this time in the future. Who knows? Maybe they did. And the goal is that, you know, to help you feel calmer, more relaxed, but also give you energy, not drain your energy. And it helps you recover from things. So it helps you be more resilient and helps your body's own ability to heal and recover from things. So for example, let's say, you know, you banged your arm against something and you have a bruise. If you don't have a lot of qi in your body, and I mean, some of it depends probably on the sensitivity of your skin and other things, but if you have more qi flowing in your body, that bruise is going to heal faster. You know, if we have any health at all, of course it's going to heal, but it will heal faster and more easily when you're practicing Qigong or building your qi. Okay. Basic principles of Qigong are the principles of Chinese medicine. Number one is when the qi is flowing freely in the body and not stuck anywhere and not blocked, that's health. That gives you greater health the more flow you have. The sign of stagnant or stuck qi is, you know, like chronic pain and tension, maybe some kind of illness condition going on, lack of flexibility, maybe just low energy to that place. Like, let's say you don't really have a block, but there's not good circulation in your hands, so they're often cold. So that would be an example of the qi is not flowing freely to your extremities. And that was actually a surprising benefit for me of starting to practice Qigong, is that it's not why I was practicing, but I got this benefit of my hands and feet used to always be cold, and now they aren't. And people ask me how I can go around in shoes without socks in the winter. I mean, we do have cold weather here. I say, my feet don't get cold. So that's just like an interesting side benefit. So we'll do some of these movements. This is in this beginner's class. I try and vary up the movements and introduce you to different ones. So in case you have this question, which I've been asked before, in this class, I don't teach so much. I might teach a sequence. So when you're learning Qigong, and often in a class, they will teach you what's called a set, or it's like different movements linked together. I do teach that more in the other class I teach, which is Get Moving with Qigong. This class is a little bit more speaking and introducing you to the practice and teaching you individual forms. So sometimes they're linked together, sometimes they're not. So that's basically, I think, it for the slideshow. Yep, okay. And I'm gonna stop the share. Thank you, yeah. All right, so now we're gonna come up, you probably, well, some of you are sitting, some of you might be standing, but I'm gonna come up to standing and we'll start our movement practice. Okay, let me just get the camera positioned right. Okay, let's see. No, still not quite there yet. Okay, oh, we're almost there. Just one more little tweak and that should do it. All right, good. And again, if you're practicing in a chair, get your chair handy, and everybody else, if it's easy for you to access a folding chair or a kitchen chair or something like that, it's nice to have for a little support. So sometimes we might be, especially in the warm-ups, not so much in the Qigong, we might be standing on one leg and just shaking it out. So you can do it, just like that. But if you want a little support, then have a chair handy. The practice traditionally is done barefoot, or sometimes the Chinese use these very thin, like cloth shoes with thin soles, but not big, kind of heavy shoes. Unless, if you need that, you have orthotics or you really need that support, of course, practice with shoes on. And again, a reminder that if you want to practice in a chair, you just sit yourself down, and pretty much the only thing you won't be able to do is when we go up and down with the legs. So everything else is the same in a chair. And a couple of other guidelines about the movement is, this is one of the things about Qigong is moving with awareness and becoming aware of how you're moving, and also paying attention to your body. So I'm not in the room with you, literally, and even if I was, I don't know what's going on internally. So that's up to you to just pay attention and monitor how you're doing. And you can do the movement smaller, if let's say I often will sit down just so you can see so if I'm up here and that's hard on your shoulders, or for whatever reason, and you want to be down here or even down here, then do that. So, with Qigong, one of the secrets of getting the Qi to flow freely in the body is relaxation. So we are very conditioned in our culture to, like, no pain, no gain, work harder in the gym, push yourself past your limits. And of course, there's a place for that. But mostly with Qigong, it's much more important for us to practice in a relaxed way to help the Qi flow, and use what we call the 80% rule. So here's 100%, right? My arms are locked. 80% looks like that. So I feel a lot more relaxed with my elbows bent. And it also applies to just like going, not pushing yourself beyond your capacity. So if your energy is low and you want to try the standing practice, try it for a while. If you just
For
start
why
to
am
feel
I
it,
talking? There have been many times where I've been in a circumstance where
gonna let that go. Sometimes it just gets irritating. Yeah, so where was I? See, I get distracted, and I don't like being distracted. So what I'm gonna do to avoid that happening, so I may be a Qigong teacher, but I'm not a saint. And sometimes I have get a little challenged. Not most of the time, not. All right, so now, unfortunately, I had to do that where right now you're not able to unmute yourself. So if for some reason there's something you really need to get my attention, type it in the chat and Harry will let me know, or go like that, like the sound goes off or something crazy like that. But otherwise, right now, later I'll change it. You will not be able to unmute yourself, so we don't have to worry about that happening. Okay, what was I saying? Don't remember. I think I was just talking about listening to your body. And so if you're practicing and you start to feel really tired or your back hurts, if that starts to happen, then please take the chair and continue the practice that way. All right, so let's just shake out tension in our bodies. It's the afternoon, you may have been sitting, or just, the activities of the day. So let's just, like we're flicking off water. And you can go at your speed here. You can be just slow like that, smaller. I just feel like being more like that. And get your elbows up and get the, so this is a form, this shaking is a form of activating and waking up the chi inside the body. All right, let that go and let's just play with shoulder rolls. Let's alternate. So I'm actually kind of coming a little bit forward and back here and like that. So do that one back and forth. And I see that my phone is not disconnected, so I'm going to do that. So I don't distract our class. Okay. Very good. And let's do some turtleneck stretches. So hunching up like that, and then just stick your chin out like the turtle sticking his head out of the shell. Tuck it back, lower the shoulders one more time. Yeah. Good. And let's just play with opening up our neck a little bit. So we'll just do some gentle neck rolls in that, like the shape of a smile. We're making like a smile with our chin. My face stays facing forward pretty much. Not really turning the head. I'm just, wow, that feels so good. Okay, and now let's just go side to side again, just gentle, and find your, how far can you go without forcing? Back to center, other side. Just observing without judging, and as you turn again, see if you can go a little further. All right. Let's see. All right, so let's work on our feet here. Just so we always start, these are the warm-ups, and we always start with some warm-ups so that, first of all, it reduces our chance of injury, it increases our ability to move in the form, and it also gets the chi flowing in the body. So lift your right heel, and here's where, if you're balanced, if you'd like this for your balance, you can do that. Lift your right heel and start just pressing into the toes on the floor. And I don't know if you can see it, but since I'm barefoot and I like a little support, I'm standing on a yoga mat on top of a carpet because I just like a little cushioning under my feet. Not required, that's just my personal preference. So we went both ways with this. See if you can get it a little bit bigger. I'm just doing a circle. All right, and let's do the other foot. Something's going on here with me. Okay, it's the left, right. Okay, so again, just lifting that heel and planting, like pressing my right foot so it feels secure, and holding the chair if you like. So this way is a little bit more of a balance challenge, which I'm feeling like giving myself. So I'm just going in one direction and then the other, primarily the foot and the ankle here. And then make it a little bit bigger. So we're working now more into the knee and up into the groin area. All right, let's stretch out our calves. So this is really not required, but it's a nice support. And if you don't have a chair, maybe you have like a counter ledge you can lean on. And I'm going to just take my left foot and gently press the top of the foot onto the mat. I'm leaning on the other leg, so I don't have a lot of weight on that back foot. Just letting it stretch. And then go the other way, so now pressing down and pressing through the heel, and don't force it if your heel doesn't come all the way down, just go to your ability. See how I'm pretty using the chair here. And we're stretching our calves out, which is also really important. All right, switching feet. So again, I lean into the left leg, standing leg, bend the knee, stretch that top of the foot. Be gentle here. This can be very, very tight. And again, stretching back to the calves. All right. So now let's open up the hips and the middle of the body here. Okay, so here is one way of doing this. There's some variations, which if you've come to the class before, you may have seen me do that. But here's one. See what's happening with this foot? I'm kind of turning it, and I let the arms go. And then I turn that one. And right now, the hands are just kind of landing on my chest here to open up the lungs. And now we're going to emphasize the hand that's in the back. So see what happens? The back of my hand is coming to my kidney here, like that. So let's do some more like that. And the front hand can land anywhere you like. All right. And let's just open up the inside of our legs a little bit, which can get really tight from sitting. So this is pretty wide. You may not be that wide. You might be like that. Or you might want to go even wider, but let's just come down, stretch, and just breathe as we open up. I'm not doing anything with my hands. I'm just having the intention to open up these muscles as I come down. I'll show you that one from the side. And then I'm going to do that. Come on up. And let's do one more. So I'm not going down like that, but this part, the joint, kind of the top of the leg, bottom of the torso, the Chinese call that the qua, so it's like a hinge. So I'm just hinging there. And then opening my inner thighs for a minute. I can look to one side and the other. And if this is difficult, try it in a chair. And I'm just going to do a little back spinal flexion. All right, come on up. We'll do a little bit more to warm up the knees, and then we will move into our Qigong. So this one I'm going to show you in a chair, and it's totally optional to stand or sit on this. Okay, so I'm just going to take my hands and gently come up and down right over my knees, just above, just below. I'm just now rubbing and massaging them. And as we're practicing, during the practice, if that starts to happen to you with your knees, just stop for a minute and do this rubbing to warm them up. And just for good measure, especially because I'm sitting, so it's easy for me. You might have to, if you're standing, you would have to reach down a little bit. And I think I'm still, oh, maybe not. Okay, I thought maybe the top of the laptop is blocking, but it's just everything is black, so it's a little hard to see, I know. So just take your hands, soft fist, and we're just going to kind of go around the side, outside side of the upper thighs, and then we're going to go down below the knees, about 2 inches down and out towards the side, just kind of all around there. And it's not hard, but it's a little stimulating. And what we're doing right now is we're working an acupuncture point that's good for fatigue and low energy, which often happens in the afternoon or early evening. Some of you are here really late in the day. So good. All right. That's called stomach 36. Those are, an acupuncture point. Okay. I I think we're nice and warmed up here. So let me tune in and see which Qigong to show you today. Okay, so let's start with a form. This is called Effortless Rowing. This is good for the kidney energy. And the kidneys in Chinese medicine are very important because there's a lot of reasons, but one of them is that it's really where our life force energy comes into the body. So it comes in through the feet, and that's the beginning of the Kidney Meridian. Let's see if I can show that to you pretty easily. So just like right in the middle of the foot, all of the foot, just down below, if I flex my foot right, come down in the middle, that point right there is the kidney 1. That's the beginning of the kidney meridian. So let's just stand and feel that point, press your feet down to the earth, and imagine that there were roots growing down from the bottom of your feet all the way down. If you're in an apartment building, that's pretty long roots to get down into soil, but going down into the earth and drawing up the earth energy, life force energy from Mama Earth, coming up into the legs. Yeah, so this is the kidney energy flow that comes up here. It comes up the front of the body, and it also supports everything else in the body, all the functions. And actually, kidneys are the first organs that grow inside the embryo when it starts to form organs. So it's very important, and we're going to give it some extra attention here. So things that challenge the kidneys are stress, busyness, too much mental stimulation and not enough like fresh air or relaxation, overwork, stimulants, like too much sugar or caffeine, too much watching the news. Just some examples. So basically modern life, right? And if you've experienced or heard of other people with adrenal fatigue, the adrenals are very connected to the kidneys. So Qigong is a great way to balance out all of that and nurture the kidneys. So that's what we're going to do a lot of today. So we'll start with a Qigong form called Effortless Rowing. And I'll show you from the front first and then the side, and then we'll practice together. So I'm just starting here. My hands come up, they're on my body, and I'm going to tilt my pelvis forward as my hands come back like that. And I look to one side, bring my hands down. Let me show you again the other side. So hands come up, and then I bend my knees, tilt the pelvis forward, and turn to the other side. And my hands come back. Let me show you what it looks like from the side. Okay, so I come down, and just a note in terms of positioning of your feet is I want my knees to be going over my feet and not buckling in. Okay, so I come down, and here's my hands, beginning position. Hands come up the body, and then here, I tilt the pelvis forward. And as I return, I look to the side. And again. So let's do that one together. Effortless rowing for the kidneys. Okay, so just watching my position here as we start. See how my knees are coming out? You're not going in like that. And feet are about hip width apart. So find your good position, sinking down, and let's begin. So hands are just lightly on the body. They come up, inhaling. They tilt the pelvis forward, and I come back. So when we do these pelvic tilts, we're actually like sending energy and focusing on the kidneys. We're going this way with it. But if we do that, or we go back, or we twist, we're working the kidneys. So let's keep going. Inhale, coming up, and we don't turn until now. Now, as the hands come down, I turn to one side, and then finally my head comes back to center. So let's keep going with effortless rowing, deep nurturing for those hard-working kidneys. Inhaling, tilt, turn the head comes back. And you may want your feet a little bit wider. That will be a matter of personal preference. We come up and then we turn the head and come back down. All right, and let's just pause and we'll come into the nurturing chi position. So left hand, and it's just below my belly button, right hand on top. Take a minute, close your eyes, and notice how that felt for you and how are you feeling now. So often these kidney forms can be warming, and the kidneys get cold in the winter, so we like to keep them nice and warm. You might feel a little bit more relaxed, or you might not. And remembering again, at any point during the practice, if something it gets sore, use your hands and massage into it, or shake out your legs. That starts to, any tension starts to build up. Okay, let's do another kidney form. And this one I'm going to show you first from the back, because that's kind of where it starts. And this is another one, again, to nurture the kidney energy in the body. So I start like this. See how my index and thumb come together. And my arms are kind of short, but your arms might be longer and reach all the way down to here. I can only go to here. And then watch what happens. So it's similar kind of that bend. And I'm going to tilt, but first, the hands come up the front. The hands come up the back. They come around the body, and now I tilt that pelvis forward. Yeah. So let me show you from the front. Okay, so I'm going to bend my knees. I'm pretty wide here, a little narrower. Come up to here. The hands come around. Notice what they're doing, and then the palms turn. And my arms are curved, kind of in this very receptive position. And this is like receiving chi. It's like asking, please, universe, powers of life, intelligence of the universe, whatever you believe in. We're saying, okay, the source of life here, please fill me up, fill up my bowl with energy and health. And then we come back again. And the rest of the time, we don't go down that low with the hands. We just bring them to the back. And once more, see now my pelvis is going to slowly tilt as my hands come like that. Let's do a few more. Nice big inhale and then exhaling. And most of the time, the breathing is just, you can follow your own rhythm. And every now and then, you'll hear me give a little instruction for those of you that feel like you can add that. In the beginning, it can be just enough to follow the movements. But I'll teach some of the breath. So if you want to focus on that as well, you can. But it's not the main thing right now. So nice inhale here. Bending the knees, tilting the pelvis slightly forward, exhaling. Let's do one more time. Nice, full inhale. Exhaling. Let yourself be filled up. Let yourself receive. Good. Let's check our time here. How are we doing? Okay. Just check the chat for a second. Okay. All right. So I'm not sure exactly why I follow my intuition in these classes as well as, a certain structure, but I'm being guided to show you something that I haven't really taught in this class before. What we're doing now are several different Qigong forms that are for the seasonal transition from the autumn to the winter. And so these are all like, the feeling in these forms is like conserving energy, like the squirrels store up the nuts for the winter, the bear stores its food in the cave. And we're actually storing and conserving our chi in this class today. So we're sort of on the other side of the seasonal change. We're going kind of, well, some places winter to spring or spring to summer almost. But this is also the good Qigong to do if you're feeling tired and depleted. Maybe you overdid it on the weekend, or you got out in the yard for the first time, or, for whatever reason. And, life itself has plenty of demands on us. So let's continue with these deep conservation storage of energy forms. And we'll come into a new one here. So just watch the first time. This is called distilling. Come up like that. I'm going to turn my hands out like that, and then they come back. My right is on top, and I let them just start to drift towards the earth. It's almost like a leaf falling, the feeling 2 times. Yeah, and then I make a fist with this lower hand, soft fist, and I bring it against my body. So this feels very... Try this with me. So just make a very soft fist with your left hand and cover it with your right, and hold them against your body and just feel this one. It feels very calm and inward to me. Okay, so let's do it again. So, okay, so bending my knees, inhaling. And the hands come like this. Right is on top. Once, twice. And it all slowly drifts down into storage. So holding right here at the nurturing chi or dantian level. Another one, inhale, bending the knees. And here comes the hands, like the flapping of a bird's wing twice. Let's keep going. Inhaling. Hands lift and then they turn a little bit like that. And distilling. So drawing the chi deeply back into the body here. Okay, one more. Let's see if you can just enjoy this movement. And now, just notice if you've built up any kind of gripping or tension in your feet, anywhere in your body, maybe your shoulders. Yeah. Let's see, how are we doing for time? I like to leave a little time for questions. Okay. So let's finish with a movement. This one I often teach in this class, so you may have seen it before or somewhere else. And what I'm teaching you, just a little framework, is I'm teaching you mostly what I learned in the Moga Dao Institute, which is a school here in Santa Fe. Some of it may look like classical Qigong if you've done Qigong before, and some of it may be just different than anything you've seen before. And Qigong actually has like many different styles. So you could study from lots of different teachers and not rarely ever see the same thing repeated. So just so you know, in case you're wondering, what kind of Qigong is this? This, what I'm showing, is more of a classical Qigong move. And I learned this from Daisy Lee, who teaches women's Qigong. But of course, this is the universal form for everyone. So this is showering Qi, and this is a good way to close our practice, and any stagnant energy, negativity, toxins, any of that stuff that may have like started to flush through the body. This form is like giving your body, but your energy body, not your physical body, a shower. It's called showering Qi. Okay, so here we go. So I come down, I sink in the qua a little bit, inhaling, sort of like what we were just doing, but here, the hands turn and now they come overhead and just sweeping through the energy field, fingers relaxed, and then we release anything undesired to the earth, and then we offer a blessing of healing. Okay, and come up again. Inhaling, hands turn just below the shoulder height. Another inhale, overhead, and your hands are out in front of you. They're not right next to the body. Sometimes you can't tell from the video. Doing 2 of these gentle releases. Let's do one more, showering Qi. So nice inhale. Lifting the vitality that you've been cultivating, and lifting it up through the body, and now lifting it overhead, and just like a nice fresh rain shower, just cleansing down through your energy field. Soft hands. Let's come back here. Take a minute, close your eyes, feel the effects of the Qigong practice in your body. If you've been holding your breath or clenching your jaw or tensing up any place, again, just shake it out. And then to close the movement part, then we'll have questions, but to close this part, we'll just do a simple bow like that, hands on the thighs, and thank you for practicing with me today. So let me come closer, and when you're ready, you can type a question into the chat or sharing how you're feeling. Any of that is welcome here. Yeah, so, whoops, this chair is a little too high. All right, so any questions? Feel free to, again, oh, sorry, I have to unmute you. Apologies. Can't ask questions if you're muted. Okay, you now have the ability to unmute yourself, ask anything you'd like about the forms or anything else that I taught. Yeah, and how are you doing after that practice?
Yeah, good.
What did you say, Janice? Good? You're doing well? Or?
Good. Very
Good. Very good.
On Saturday, I did the cousin to Tai Chi, Sebastian. Oh, it really connected in.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
Good.
I like. So it connected with your class and that, and it seemed to. Oh, it's really good.
Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's great.
I like more than Tai Chi because Tai Chi's stop, but that was 18 movements. Wow. So it connects in with your one. So very good.
Wonderful. That's great. Yeah. So, yeah, anybody, and just to answer a question that I often get about that is, you know, what's the difference, or should I do, which one should I do, Tai Chi or Qigong? So they both have the word Qi in them. They're both come from like Chinese martial arts that are also deeply healing and medicinal in the body. Well, you took the Tai Chi class. What would you say, Janice? How is it different than Qigong? And if you don't want to say, it's okay. I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No. I prefer Shapiro Tai Chi than normal Tai Chi because you didn't stop and start. You were moving 18 movements like you do, forms, whereas Tai Chi is getting every movement just right. And I find that hard. But your class and the Shapiro, if I've said it right, seems to flow, which I like personally.
Good. Well, thank you for that. So Tai Chi is it's like a different set of movements. It's often done, as Janice was saying, like you do a movement and you stop. I find it, I'm much more familiar with Qigong now because I've been practicing it. But when I first tried Tai Chi, I found it more complicated and more difficult to learn.
Thank you.
So that's why I stayed with Qigong. They're both wonderful. You have to go with the Tai Chi or the Qigong that you like, that like feels good for you, and a teacher that you enjoy. So, that's also here on Get Set Up. And sometimes people just, want to try different things out first or do both. There's, some of it's just how much time do you want to give to this? And the more you do, the more you're doing for your health. So, yeah. Other questions or anything you want to share? Yeah, feel free.
I
Yes.
want to know, when are your other classes, and are they more, do you do a little more movement in some of the classes, or are they all beginning, or?
I teach this beginner's class twice a week, and I teach another class called Get Moving with Qigong.
Mhm.
And I teach that on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
So if that's what you're looking for, you might want to go try one of those classes.
Okay.
And I do more verbal teaching in this class, but either for anybody else who's curious about the levels, it's not that class is really more advanced or that we do more difficult movements.
Uh-huh.
It's just that I'm teaching more of a flow in that class.
Uh-huh. Okay, good.
Yeah. And the other classes I'm teaching on Ageless Grace are Ageless Grace. The other classes I'm teaching on Get Set Up are Ageless Grace, which it's a whole different thing, and it's playful movement done in a chair. It's done to music. It doesn't really have anything to do with Chinese medicine. It's more for the brain, and it's just another way of healthful, joyful movement. And on Wednesday afternoon, I'm teaching a new class. We're going into, I think, the third week this week on self-healing through touch. So learning different points and different things you can do simply for yourself for different, health focuses. So that class is on Wednesday afternoon. So yeah, you're going to get some notes after this class, and you can also request the recording if you want to practice on your own. And, people will also say, like, how often should I practice or how much? And that's up to you. That's if you do 10 minutes a day or 10 minutes every couple of days and you come to class, that's great. If you want to practice with the recordings or come to a lot more classes and you have the time and the interest, do that. The more you do, the better.
Mhm.
But it's one of those things that it's like you get more benefits the more you do it. And once a week is great. If you really want to learn it, then you really have to come to class more than that, I think. And everyone's different. So thank you. Harry put the links to my classes right there in the chat. So yeah. So any other questions before we go for today? Okay. I'm not
I-
seeing
I-
anything.
No, I just want to say thank you for a lovely experience. It's my first time taking a Qigong class. I have no idea what it was. So thank you for
Wonderful.
lovely introduction. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your background, May? Are you Chinese or Vietnamese or?
I am
what's the-
actually Malaysian Chinese.
Ah,
So I'm half Malay and half Chinese. So I'm trying to embrace my Asian heritage. And
beautiful.
yes, because I grew up in England. So yes, I'm kind of mixed that way.
Right, right. That's beautiful. Well, welcome back to your tradition, you know?
Yes,
So-
thank you.
Yeah. And actually, it's the whole history of Qigong is interesting because, you know, for a while there in the, you know, especially I think it's gone on for a while where it was Qigong was kind of, I don't know, there were some Qigong masters that were actually suppressed in China and then ended up coming to Europe or the United States to have more freedom of teaching. So now it's like, okay, here I am, an American Qigong teacher teaching someone from, you know, that part of the world. And I just think it's beautiful. And really Qigong, yes, it comes from China, and I'm sure there's a lot more roots in that culture than I know about, but it's also to me the universal language of healing. It's, you know, and we work a lot with nature. So I'm very glad that you came to class, and thank you all for being here, and have a wonderful afternoon. Make sure that you do take some water if you might be low in hydration, or just a little extra water to keep everything moving. And yeah, and my classes are linked there. So I'll just leave this open if there's any last questions or sharing. And otherwise, hopefully see you again in practice. So
Thank you.
yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday and take care.